The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a couple of subjects, really. We're going to get a little bit into Social Security claiming. We're going to talk about Social Security claiming seminars. We're actually going to delve a little bit into some other ways to get in front of people. We're going to talk a little bit about radio as well. So got a full docket today. Of course, we have the coach with us, Dave Pimper, who'll be joining us, the president of Lazarus Coaching, a producer as well, and been working with us on the coaching side for probably now 12, 13 years. With some pretty solid and great success over a long term, which you don't see that every day for sure. So we'll have Dave on with us shortly. Before we get started on that, I want to mention a couple things to everybody that's joining us here today. First off, let me mention that if there's going to be a couple polls that are going to come up, if you can hit yes or no pretty quickly on that, we would appreciate that. Also, if you have any questions, I want you to type those in, hit send. We'll get them asked and answered just as quickly as we can. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Steve Murray. I'm the Executive Vice President here in Insurance Agency Marketing Services. The basic functions of my job are to make sure that we've got the right products, right services, right training, right incentives to make it valuable to you. And so today, of course, we're going to talk mostly about the training aspect of that, make sure that we've got some things in front of you that get you where you want to be in terms of getting in front of prospects and having good information to flow out to them. And so let's get rolling here right now. So before we get started on some of that other stuff, I want to make sure that y'all, and I've got a pretty good sized group of folks here, and most of you, based on the folks that we invite to this webinar, folks that are already with us, but we do have some new folks aboard with us that have not yet done business. For you folks, a couple things I want to mention that you should be aware of that our other group is very well aware of. We have two programs that we send checks out to our producers on a regular basis. One is marketing reimbursement. It's a very simple program. When you do business with us, money goes in your marketing reimbursement account. When you spend money in your marketing, we match your spend dollar for dollar with the marketing reimbursement dollars in your account. Chris Ramel here in our office is our accountant. He heads up that program, but any of your annuity sales directors can tell you how that works. Another program, and this is probably some of the larger checks that we've been sending out because this program has been around for so long and frankly never ends, it goes on forever, is our RPM program. It's referred producer money. Referred producer money is really simple also. You refer a colleague to us, he decides or she decides to get contracted with us, we send you out a check for $50. No big deal. But as they do business with IAMS, then that check grows based on a 20 basis point bonus that we pay to you. Now, I put that as a bonus and not an override because it is not an override on their business. It does not come out of their pocket. It comes out of IAMS, their advertising budget pocket. So what that means for your colleague that you refer is they get the benefit of everything that you get the benefit of here at IAMS. There's no limitations on what we can offer them because they were referred to us. So I want to make that clear to you. I know a lot of folks, when they refer a colleague, want to make sure that they get all of the good stuff that they get as well, and that is certainly the case here. So if you have someone that is in your area or outside of your area that you think could benefit from the services, the incentives that we do, whether it's the trips or any of our reimbursement programs or training, or annuity academies and things like that. If you think you have a colleague that might benefit from that, I hope that you'll feel confident enough to give them our name and let us chat with them and see if we can't help them grow their business and be of service to them, much in the way that we're the same level of service to you. A couple of programs, again, this is for folks that are relatively new with us. We got the new producer bonus program, very simple program. You can see it right there before you on the screen. What I would say is that those levels correspond to annuity premium level. So 100,000 annuity premium is 100,000 points. 300,000 is of annuity premium is 300,000 points, and so on. There's a different conversion for target premium. It's about 13 to 1. There's a different conversion for single premium life. It's about 1.5 to 1. Medicare, everything that you do counts towards qualifying you for those new production builders. And another thing I would say in general about that, besides what you see on the screen before you, a lot of times a guy will call me up or a gal will call me up and say, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'd like to use that new production bonus. We will gladly do that as well. And as you can see, we'll just put money into your marketing reimbursement account as well, if that's what you choose for your marketing for your new producer bonus. So there's a lot of ways that you can do that. We try and circle that around as much as we can, ways to build additional business with you, so kind of production builders, if you will. But we do have some things that I would just consider straight incentives, like, of course, the Ritz-Carlton travel package, where you can take you and your guests to most Ritz-Carltons around the country. We'll pay for your travel, pay for your hotel stay. So a lot of things that we do there. We try and focus around building your business, but we know sometimes you just need a little relaxation, so you can take advantage of it that way as well. I want to make sure, and we'll talk about this throughout, but most of our competitors would agree that if you're looking for the best back office support of your business in the industry, IAMS is one to go to. Are we always on the tip of some of the other marketing things that you can do to grow your business? We're not always super out front there, but we do a really great job from a service aspect. And most of our gals and guys that do business with us recognize that relatively quickly, and they value it very highly because it's just going to save you a whole bunch of time. So you can read on the screen there what all that entails. But basically the idea is that whether you're need the proposal to get your business started, or whether you need some assistance, once that app is, you want to make sure you got the right paperwork, or once you submitted it, then getting it from the submission to commission process. Our support is high there. We have the 3-ring guarantee, so you're going to get a live buddy on the phone. Once you get a live buddy on the phone, you're going to get the answer to your question. Once you get the answer to your question, we're going to help you get that business done. And once that business is in the pipeline, you're going to get pretty regular notifications on what's going on. Of course, we're going to take care of whatever we can. Sometimes we need to draw you in, or at least let you know what's going on at the carrier, but we're going to be pretty regular on that on all the conversations and all of the contact with you about that. And guys and gals value that quite highly. It's not something that you sell a lot here, because frankly, everybody says they've got great service, right? But what we know from talking to our folks regularly is that there's no doubt that our service is better than the average that they're seeing out there from our competitors. So take advantage of that. We've got a great creative team. What I tell folks here at this point is, think of if you could have an advertising firm that knows the basics of your business and works with people just like you all the time, is interested in doing that for as little cost as possible, and they're going to be, when you call, they're going to call you back or be available right when you call, and be really attentive to your needs. If you had an advertising firm that was like that, what could that do to help you grow your business? And that's really what the marketing team is over there. We've expanded that now. We've got 5 or 6 people, and probably headed towards 7 folks, because we know that that's a big part of the business. I can really help you grow your business. And there's so many folks that are interested in what you're offering right now: safety guarantees, guaranteed income, what we can do on the life side for you, the med subs. There's just so much interest in that if enough people know about you, you're going to do some business on a regular basis. And really, that's what you want to do, is just have people calling you on a regular basis. Let the creative team help you with that. Whether it's digital marketing, getting your name on some hard copy pieces that you can mail on a regular basis to your current mailing database, something you can mail to your clients on a regular basis. There's a lot of things that we can do for you there that are kind of pre-built, and there's some things that obviously we do for folks on a custom basis. We want to make sure that when you're thinking about your advertising, you want to get that done as in the most economical method possible, and our creative team is just the way to do that. Got a great website as well. We're adding to that all of the time. You go to our sales resources, the IAMS library. That's a great amount of tools out there. If you're trying to run term quotes, we can get you live stuff there, get you your forms for all of your life and whether it's permanent or term business. We've recently added the single sign-on feature with Firelight, so now you can go on and do EFs with most of the carriers that you want to do business with, all from one website instead of having to go to carrier by carrier websites. We think that's a valuable commodity for you. So there's a lot of things that we have currently and in the future adding to that website. So you'll probably notice when you go to the website, the last couple of years this has been true, you do have to register and put a password in, because eventually we'll have your business displayed out there as well. And so we want to make sure that that's secure for you. So a lot of things you can do on the website. If you haven't looked at it lately, call your sales director and say, hey, walk me through the website. What are the things out there, the tools that you have that I can use to help me grow my business? Highly underutilized feature that we have here at IAMS is a retirement analyzer. The folks that use this on a regular basis, and you'd be surprised how few there are. So we have about 25, 30 um, agents or agencies that regularly use the retirement analyzer, every one of them would tell you, hey, did a case or two, wasn't sure if it was going to be good, had a need for it on a case on a larger basis, started using it. Now I use it on every client. And it's been a real difference maker in my business. So if you are not using a retirement analyzer or a program like it, I would really encourage you to give Marcus here at our office a call and say, hey, Marcus, set me up on a trial because we take care of the cost. If you're using it and you're doing business with us, we're going to take care of the cost for you. And that's not a small thing. It costs, that's like 50, 60 bucks a month. We're going to take care of that for you if you're using that program and you're doing business with IAMS. We'll let you, even if you're not doing business with us yet, we'll let you trial it for a little while. And I just say, hey, run something on yourself. And basically what it helps you do is for your clients, it helps you see where they are on their retirement target. And so whether they're 45, 55, 65, whatever age they are, you put the information in. It includes everything that you could consider, every income source, every investment type, everything that you can think of, every personal situation that might come up, and includes all of that in one place so that you can go back to your client and say, okay, these are all the things that are affecting your journey towards your retirement. These are all the things that are affecting the things that you're most concerned about as far as, what's your income going to be, and am I going to be able to continue with this lifestyle? And it helps you with the whole process of working with your client and understanding the impacts that different things are going to have on them during the course of their retirement journey. And so now you're talking to your client at least once a year and saying, okay, this is where we are, Joe. This is where we are, Joe and Mary, on your retirement journey. Let's get together here real quick. And it makes you a regular and indispensable part of their retirement planning. So if you haven't looked at a program like that, I would really encourage you to take some time. We're going to take care of the cost on it for you and see if that's something that you can use in your business. I think you'll find that it will make you invaluable, indispensable to your clients. I want to mention IAMS Wealth because as we close 2019 and get into 2020, it's been one of the fastest growing parts of our business. And I think the reason for that is that so many of the folks that we do business with on the insurance side have made the decision that they need to expand in their business and what they offer their clients. And some of that might be because they've had to refer some clients out, but some of it might be because they see what's happening on the regulatory front. I think over the next 4, 5, 6, 8 months, you're going to hear a lot more about the best interest standard and how that could affect your business and what that's going to allow you to do and what that's going to preclude you from doing. And you're going to want to add asset management to part of your business. And if that's the case, I think you'll be really pleased with what they do at IAMS Wealth. What I hear generally from our guys is that they do a much better job in terms of their fee structure. So more of the fee gets paid to the agent because we don't run it through a grid. So if you're on a 1%, which was what, generally speaking, a little over 1% is what our guys make, then it's not 80% of 1% or 70% of 1% or 60% of 1%. You make 1% of that fee goes to you. So that's important, what you're going to make, but also what does it cost? And I hear a lot of guys tell me that IAMS Wealth is very inexpensive and they're amazed by what's included. E&O's included, a website's included, all the training that you need is included, all the software programs you need is included in that fee. And so the fee is low and the benefits offered via that fee are very high. And a lot of guys have told me that what they have found is that the folks over at IAMS Wealth are much more service-oriented, what they've normally seen on the securities side, whether it's from their broker-dealer, whether it's from their RIA. So I think that combination of low fees, high payout, and great service is key. I think when you take in conjunction with that they're pretty good at helping folks transition from their insurance type of approach to an insurance and managed assets type of approach. I think that's what's made that business grow so quickly. And so if you have interest at all in having somebody chatting with somebody from IAMS Wealth, if you would, just hit yes on that poll. And I know we've got a lot of folks, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. So if you could just give me a quick yes or a quick no, either way is okay. They got plenty of people to talk to, but if they can help you, they'd love to. Certainly let us know if this is something that's of interest to you. Here's the feedback that I have, and we have one of our producers that is also one of our presenters at our academies, and 4 or 5 years ago when we were talking about what was happening on the regulatory front. At that time, it was DOL. He said, I think that's probably, he said, I don't want, my business is all about safe assets. I don't really want to get involved in securities at all. About 2 years ago, he said, look, I can see that this is something that I'm going to stay in this business and be active in this business. I probably need to have, but I still don't want to offer it much. And he got the ability, he took his test for the Series 65 and joined IAMS Wealth. Now he stands up at our academies and tells people how much that's improved his insurance side of his business, whether it's annuities. It just gives you a different level of credibility. It gives you a different whole part of a client's financial picture that now you can talk about that you weren't able to talk about before. If you can imagine how that opens up some doors, that I would encourage you to put yes on that. But from a just strictly what I hear from our folks that are currently doing business on the insurance side and have recently added managed assets to a man and woman, they've been amazed by how much that's increased the number of people that they're in front of and the number of or the amount of assets they're dealing with on a regular basis. So I highly encourage you to consider that. And if that's something you're looking at, and I see that I'm talking to the choir, everyone has already voted, and most of you all are interested. So I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out. What's going to happen is those of you that voted yes, a couple no's and a few yeses, obviously the folks that voted yes on that, you'll get a call from either Charles or Mike Hanson. Close that out. Let's get moving right along. I'm going over by a allotted amount of time here. I apologize for that. I do want to talk about our life and annuity academies. Many of you have joined us on those in the past, which is great. We'd love to have you there. You can see what we talk about there. We have top producers that come and talk. We've got some company folks, the folks at IAMS as well. I'll do some great presentations. It's about over 3 days. You're going to be out of your office for 3 days, coming generally on a Wednesday. You're out on a Friday afternoon, so we don't get into your weekend, obviously. But a lot of great information. We take care of your expenses associated with that. If you have interest in coming in to one of our academies, I'm going to launch a poll on that really quickly as well. And what I want you to do is let me know if you have interest by voting yes. If you don't have interest, go ahead and vote no. I want to say that what will happen is that if you vote yes on that poll, you're going to get a email from us, and that email will have with it have a registration form. And it will also have a sample agenda. So you can look at what we do on an hour-by-hour basis, make sure that's a good fit for you. You send that registration form in. That lets us know that you have interest. We've got 4 academies coming in 2020. We'll give you a call at each of those and see if the timing works for you. So when you say yes, that's what happens. If you have any questions about the academy, I'd surely love to have you give us a call here at the office at 800-255-5055. Ask for any of our sales directors. They'll be glad to walk you through what happens at those academies, what we do, and how we do it. We do take care of your expenses, so we'll take care of your flight, we'll take care of your hotel, we'll take care of your meals while you're there. You're going to leave with some great information, a full binder that you will have taken a lot of notes in along the way. That will something you will refer to based on what I hear from folks. You will refer to that for years to come. There's a lot of great information, and it's always growing and expanding. So, again, this is the best voting group ever. You guys have already voted, and I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Those of you that voted yes, which looks like the far majority, you will receive a registration form and a sample agenda. So watch for those on your email here shortly. Keep moving along here this morning. So I want to make sure that you're all aware. If you're doing business with IAMS, with Athene, you are eligible for a great trip down to Cabo San Lucas to one of the finest resorts, probably the finest resort in Cabo, if not one of the top 20 resorts in the country. It's the Montage at Los Cabos. You can see it there before you. No picture that we've seen does that place justice. You can see it's got a beautiful beach there, really the only swimmable beach in Cabo. If you've ever been to Cabo, you know it can be the undertow can be a little troublesome there. They've got a nice little cove set up there. They have 5 employees for each room at this resort. It's probably as close as you're going to get to personal butler service at any resort in the world. So the service is great. The facilities are awesome. Great golf, great spa. You're going to enjoy that. So if you're doing business with IAMS, with Athene, right now, all of your business qualifies for that. Right now, any business that you write with us that's issued in November and December is going to get double points for qualification. And qualification runs through the end of June of 2020. So got plenty of time to qualify. We'd love to have you all join us down. If you have some questions on that, give us a call here at the office. We'd love to tell you about how that works. You can only qualify by writing for this event. It's co-sponsored between IAMS and Athene. You can only qualify by doing business with IAMS with Athene. Okay. We're going to be announcing very shortly the location for our top producers escape. Again, we've got double credits for a number of carriers going on right now for our top producers escape. Qualification started in July, qualification runs through the end of 2020. We'll be going in early 2021. We go to a nice sunny beach location. We'll also have a second trip for top level producers that will be a tag trip to that. So watch for the announcement on that very soon as well. All right. Here we go. Dave, are you with us?
I certainly am.
Okay, thank you for joining us. And you can see that I've gone over my time. So I'm setting up your slideshow here, and we're going to hit go on this thing and get you started. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Sorry that I talk so slowly. If there's anything that I can help with along the way, what I want to do right now is introduce Dave Pimper, the president of Lazarus Coaching. I told you a little bit about Dave at the onset. Suffice it to say that he is a top-level producer. He has been coaching IAMS and IAMS producers for 12 years. He was a coach with Lazarus Coaching before that, so a lot of experience in both production and coaching. We're going to talk about two great opportunities, mostly around the Social Security, but we're going to talk a little bit about Retirement Boss Radio. So, Dave, I'm going to turn it over. Here you go.
You bet, Steve. Thank you very much. And, folks, just to let you know, this presentation is going to take about 35 minutes, give or take. So it'll be, going to cover a lot of information on marketing, Social Security, a little bit about being a radio host. Different ways to market your practice to get in front of more people. If you have any questions, certainly type them in, and we will answer those here at the end. So my name is Dave Pimper. I'm a producer, just like you are. Been in the business since 1981, so 35 plus years. My company's name is Lazarus, Lazarus, Lazarus Coaching, like biblical Lazarus. And my job with IAMS is, from a producer standpoint, is to coach people up and to get in front of more people. And I also work with the sales process. So let's go in and we'll go to the first slide. And we're going to talk about Social Security first of all. This is from Mary Beth Franken back in September of 2017. Her headline on this is word for word from the article: majority of future retirees threaten to switch advisors who don't offer guidance. Now that is wild, isn't it? Nearly 80% of future retirees who work with a financial advisor said they would switch advisors to maximize their Social Security benefit. Many financial advisors shy away from Social Security conversations because they feel they don't know enough about this complex topic. Despite the apparent reluctance among some of the financial advisors to offer Social Security guidance, it seems to be an increasing priority for clients. I can absolutely go in and give a gold star to this because it's exactly right. I'm actually working on, I have a presentation tomorrow that the reason he came into me, it happened to be from Retirement Boss Radio, for me being a radio host. He's worth $5.5 million. He's letting me propose on just shy of $1.3 million, and he wants to go from Morgan Stanley of being risky to being safe. He told me that from the guaranteed side, he wants to have a minimum of half of that in a guarantee. Now, I work with both investments and fixed index annuities and fixed. But I'll tell you right now, the reason he came into me and I asked him this, he said, well, I kind of like what you said on radio, but he said, I really wanted to get some ideas of how to maximize my Social Security. That's truly the reason why he called and set up an appointment. I think Social Security really, really does a great job of bringing people to you because so many advisors don't really understand Social Security. Now, we do our Facebook advertising for our Social Security. We have an outside vendor, small shop down in the Southeast. They have low overhead. They've been in business though for a long time, and he buys media all over. Also, he's an expert in Facebook marketing. But why Facebook for seminars? Cost. It is very, very competitive of what we're offering. And so there's called campaign budget optimization. We can go in and the demographics it's called artificial intelligence. There's a pixel that kind of gets smarter and smarter and smarter the more that you do. There's less setup time. Actually, if we normally need 3.5 weeks, but we can do it as little as 2 weeks out and still get a full house for this. And you can track the attendance, not just for the total, but for each night, okay, which is kind of interesting. So I'll probably have those slides in, and there's 4 slides, and this isn't everything, but 4 slides on the tax reform that went into effect back in January 1 of 2018, but it was the most sweeping tax law changes in 30 years. There's a standard deduction now. It started out at $12,000 for single and $24,000 for married. This year, if you're both over 65 and married, you go in and you get $27,000 worth of standard deductions. That's a lot of deductions. So we do talk some about that. We'll probably take that out after the first of the year. That's my idea anyway. But I call about a stroll down memory lane. You know, it was an act. The Social Security Act was started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. First check after they brought enough money in the trust fund was Ida Mae Fuller in 1940. 65, that was the age. That was the only age you could take back then. Interesting thing, you talk about longevity. The average person died at the age of 62. How do you like those odds? You take at 65, but you die at 62, the average person. In 61, they lowered the retirement age to 62, but you can start taking it at a discount. In 1975, annual cost of living raises were included on a year-to-year basis. 83, taxation started. 93, they increased the taxation. And the last big legislation was in 2015. File and suspend was phased out quickly, and restricted application got phased out, over an 8-year time period. So how important is Social Security? Well, if you're rich, not very important, is it? No. If you're poor, it's all of your income in retirement. But 59% of retirees count on their Social Security benefit to be a major source of income. That's a lot of percentage. This is great information. Of course, I showed this to those are my actual slides that I'm actually doing a workshop tonight, Social Security workshop tonight. I got a full house, and we're doing it in West Omaha, called Elkhorn, Nebraska. Actually, that's where IAMS is headquarters. It's just a few blocks away from that in town. They're out on the highway. But Jana Herron, on July 1 of this year, here's her article in USA Today. Headline: doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. $100,000. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Retirees will lose on an average. That's not the wealthy. This is on an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. And then I'll say, folks, in the workshop, folks, this is why you're here tonight, to find out when to take your Social Security at the most opportune age. Social Security 101, yeah, there's 3 dates or times that are important. What's the earliest you can take? Age 62, you're exactly right. What's the latest you can take, or you just lose your benefit? Age 70. What's the benefit in the middle? Full retirement age. If you take before full retirement age, you get it now, but it's discounted. If you take after full retirement age, you get it later, but it's increased. That's the basics of Social Security claiming. A $2,000 benefit at a hypothetical 2.8% COLA, which it is this year. Next year it's going to be 1.6%. They just came out with that October the 10th. But a $2,000 benefit starting at a 2.8% COLA, in 10 years you would have gotten in over $300,000. In 20 years, over about $250,000, and in 30 years, over $1.1 million. And you think about who lives 30 years? I I just got done with my mom. She's in Kearney, Nebraska, 155 miles from here. She's 96 years old, lives by herself, has a boyfriend. He's going to be 96 in January. They've been dating for 9 years. Dean Pearson. And they travel every year. They've been in the Mediterranean together. He took her twice to the Caribbean. They've been Hawaii. They've been to Cancun 2 different times. I mean, I always say I want to date Dean Pearson. Yeah, people are just living longer and longer and longer, meaning Social Security, that's a lifetime income benefit. That's guaranteed by the U.S. government. I have 5 Social Security myths. I'm not going to cover all of them, but it's Social Security going broke. I say, didn't you hear when you were a kid, hey, you better save. You better invest now, Dave, because when you get retirement age, Social Security is never going to be there. I heard that from my father. If I asked you, did Social Security run a deficit or a surplus last year? Most people would say it ran a deficit, but you're wrong. It ran a surplus of about $3 billion. Off of $1 trillion, it ran a surplus of $3 billion. That's not very much. This year, it probably will run a deficit. When's the last time the Social Security Administration ran a deficit? The trust fund? Yeah, 1982. That's a long time ago, 1982. Yeah, that's the last time it's ran a deficit. Other than that, it's always ran a surplus. How you can shore up Social Security, and I talk about means testing first on the very bottom, and that's a big thing right now. Actually, I think there's a bill that's up in front of Congress. It hasn't been voted on yet, but what they want to do is if you make a lot of money in retirement, they want to take part of your Social Security or all of your Social Security and give it to people who don't have as big a benefit. So it's wealth redistribution. Now, am I in favor of that? I am not. But when I give this to the workshop, I can tell people, yeah, some people are in favor of this. And then I'll tell them it starts at $50,000 in retirement. And I can just see the looks on the faces of those folks when they think, well, I was in favor, but if it affects me, I'm not. But means testing, I think the best way they can do is just raise full retirement age. It's somewhere between 66 and 67. I raise it to 70. And I always make a joke. My son Sam, 27-year-old editor of a small newspaper here, Columbus Telegram in Nebraska. But if I say, Sam, they're going to raise your Social Security full retirement age to 70 from 67. I always say, you know what Sam would tell me? Give me another beer, Dad. Who cares? Yeah, no one cares. They can do more taxation, which I'm not a big in favor of raising taxes, but I think they'll do a combo of a couple, 2 or 3 things, but I'm certainly not in favor of means testing. If you're born between 1943 and 1954, don't you love that dog? The birthday. Yeah. Your full retirement age is 66. If you're born at 55 like I was, I'm 64 years old. Mine's 66 years and 2 months, and it ratchets up 2 months per year until you're 1960 or later. Your full retirement age is 67. A brand new baby born in the hospital today, what's the full retirement age of that baby? You're right, 67. So if you apply before full retirement age, it's called an actuarial reduction. You'll get reduced. If your full retirement age is 66, it gets reduced by 25%. If your full retirement age is 67, it gets reduced by 30%. How about you wait longer than full retirement age? Every year you wait longer, you're going to get an 8% guaranteed increase in your benefit up to the age of 70. You have to start taking it at 70. There's no more delayed retirement credits up to 70. You would just lose your benefit if you don't take it at 70. That's called a delayed retirement credit. Now, if you like the idea, I tell you, Social Security, one of the great things about doing a seminar is only 2% of American public really understands Social Security inside and out. Get a load of this. Only 13-14% of advisors really understand Social Security inside and out. You can be the designated person in your area that really understands Social Security. You can be the go-to person. And Social Security, one of the great things about taking coaching is if you you're going to do a seminar. Hopefully, you're going to get in front of a lot of people and set some good appointments to write some business. But you're going to learn Social Security. I coach you up. We have 3 45-minute coaching sessions. There's a book to read. There is some homework and attachments to read. But you're going to learn Social Security. You also get the presentation that I put together. IAMS did the creative on it. And you get Social Security software free for 3 months. After that, you can pay for it. It's like $25 to $27 a month after that. But it's really a great, great program. And the whole thing is $2,500, which guarantees you 25 buying units guaranteed. 25 buying units guaranteed at the workshop. If you don't get 25, you get 24, we pay you back $100 because it's $2,500 for 25 buying units. Spousal benefits. How does the kind of the simpleness of spousal benefits work? My PIA, primary insurance amount, at say Dave's is $2,400 and Amy's is $1,000. Dave takes his, Amy takes hers. Dave gets $2,400. Amy can either, she has the option. The lower benefit spouse has the option of taking all of theirs or half of their spouses, whichever is higher. Well, half of Dave's is higher, isn't it? $1,200 versus $1,000. That $200 is called a top-up. So in reality, Social Security pays out Amy her $1,000 that she's due, and she gets a $200 spousal top-up from Dave, her husband. Okay. How about divorce spouse? Here's the triple play for a divorce spouse benefit. First of all, your marriage must have lasted for 10 years or longer. You must currently be unmarried, and your ex needs to be 62 or older. Married 10 years or longer, you cannot be married when you claim, when you file. Your ex has to be at least 62 or older. Doesn't affect your exes in any way, and you can use actually each other's benefit in this scenario. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Why is it important? You can use your ex just like you're still married to them. Married couples have many more options than what does divorced. And a triple play in the bottom of the ninth is if your ex is deceased. Not that I'm hoping that, but if your ex is deceased, now you've got divorced deceased benefits. How about that? Same thing. 10 years unmarried, 62 for the spouse. But if your spouse has say he's got an $1,800 benefit a month, and you've got a $1,800 right now, you could take all of it. Now, it might get discounted if you take it before 66 or for retirement, but you can let yours grow and grow and grow all the way to 70 and turn yours on down the road. Now, that's also a survivor benefit too, but you can do it with divorce survivor also. Let's say that Dave's $2,000 benefit and Amy's is $1,200 and Dave dies. Amy can let her benefit go of $1,200 and jump up to Dave's $2,000. She has to request it. With the spousal benefit, it's done automatically by Social Security Administration. With the survivor benefit, you've got to request the benefit. She jumps up to Dave's benefit. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Now, coordinating spousal benefits, there was more coordination before the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015. But like I said, file and suspend was phased out, but the twin sister of file and suspend is restricted application. Now, I know, and I take a lot of time when we're coaching and role play and the books you read and everything, but I'll tell you right now, this is complicated, but this shows you how many spinning wheels and why hardly anyone understands Social Security claiming. Here we go. Stay with me on this. Dave and Amy are both 66, and I was born before 1/2 of 54. If you're not, if the person taking the application is not born before 1/2 of 54, they cannot do it. It's only if you're born before 1/2 of 54. My PIA, primary insurance amount at full retirement age, is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Dave has Amy file for her benefit first to bring some money on in, so she's going to get $1,000. Once she claims, it can be done simultaneously. Dave goes in and he files his benefit, but he automatically stops it and restricts his benefit to the spousal benefit. So he starts his, And in the eyes of Social Security started, but then he automatically stops it and restricts his application. Now, that enables him to get a spousal benefit as his grows each year 8%. A spousal benefit is always half of the spouse's benefit at full retirement age. What is Amy's benefit? $1,000. Dave's able to get $500 as Amy takes $1,000 and he lets his grow the guaranteed 8% a year up to the age of 70. How cool is that? $500 times 12 is 6,000. 6,000 times 4 is 24,000 bucks. The interesting thing is that's free money. You won't believe this, but only 0.7, less than 1% of all the people in the U.S. that can take advantage of restricted application do. Can you believe that? No one knows about it. You're not going to hear about this from the Social Security Administration. How cool is that? Yeah. And then when Dave turns 70, the 500 grows away, but you know what Amy can do? She can go up and get half of remember, it's all of hers or half of the spouse, but it's not at what Dave's grew to. It's what his was at primary insurance amount at age 66. Half of 24 is 1,200. That's 200 more than Amy's 1,000. She gets a top up of $200 once he turns 70. A lot of moving parts, but you know what? I just did one. Oh, in fact, that big deal I got going on tomorrow, that 1.3 million. Yeah, we did that with him. He restricted. He said, "How can you do that? How's that fair?" I said, "I don't know. It's the rules." He said, "God, that's cool." No one hardly knows this stuff. When you're done coaching, you will, and you can help your people do that. That's why you're so valuable to them. Are there reasons to take early at a discount? You darn right there is. You need income now. You have bad health. You have diabetes, and you've had 3 strokes. How about you're in perfect health, but your three brothers all died of lung cancer, and you're a smoker. Yeah, maybe better take early. But the worst reason to take early is being uninformed. And I always joke in my workshops. I said I did put down first being ignorant, but I thought that was too harsh. So being uninformed. Folks, you're here tonight because you want to be informed. And I'll say, that's why so many people sign up for a free consultation. Why? Because I'm going to give you the very best options possible. I'm going to have an 11-page customized Social Security report that shows you exactly when to maximize. Then I might say this. I might say, you know what? Not everyone will do it. Maybe they have to wait to take Social Security and it grows. Maybe you want to take now. But you can't go, once you have that information, you can't go back in 3 years and say, gosh, if I would have only known that, I would have done this. No, you know it, and now you can make a decision of what to do with that information, can't you? But a lot of people want to try to maximize, get the most out of their Social Security. Next slide. If any questions, certainly type it in. But the annual earnings test, yeah, if you make over $17,640, next year it's a little over $18,000. Yeah, what happens is they're going to take $1 for every 2 that you make. So if you're working and making pretty good money, it normally isn't worthwhile to take your Social Security. Myth number 3, you're going to get the biggest family benefit waiting to claim at age 70? No. I always say Social Security is the worst water cooler talk there is. Hey, I took it 62 and you should too. Hey, I took it 70 and you should too. It's bad water cooler talk. That's why I say, hey, my favorite color is violet and yours should be too. It's a personal opinion. That's how Social Security is. Okay? Now, what's interesting on this is do-overs. Within 1 year when you started, if you pay all your money back and any of your spousal benefits or so forth, you pay it all back, you can do it one time, you can start over. How about when you're full retirement age? Let's say that you should have suspended 6 months earlier, 3 months earlier, or a year earlier. You can go in and do a retro benefit of up to 6 months. And this is always a really great question. ConAgro is an Omaha firm. They went to Chicago after 100 years, which was tough about 5 years ago, but a lot of people lost their jobs. I worked with my share of those folks. But this is a, for instance, let's say that the guy was 62, had enough money that he thought he could retire, and at 64, he found a really great job that paid more than he made in bigger benefits, and he wants to work till 66. Can he stop his Social Security at 64? No, you cannot. You can at full retirement age, but you can't at 64. It was in the first year he could pay it back. You bet he could, but it was in 2 years, so he's stuck. Social Security is taxed. It's called provisional income. That's your adjusted gross income, not counting Social Security, 1/2 of your Social Security benefit, all of your municipal bond interest. That equals your provisional income. You can see, if you're married filing jointly, if you make under $32,000 on your provisional income, you're not going to go in and pay any taxation on your Social Security, right? Yeah. And remember, if you're married and both over 65, you got $27,000 worth of deductions. $27,000. That's $59,000. Minus that, you can still not pay Social Security. So, you know, it is taxed, but it's if you're above a certain amount. There's ways to reduce taxation. I don't go nearly this fast when I'm going at the actual workshop itself. I mean, the workshop takes me about 1 hour and 5 minutes. That's how long it takes me to go through it. But I love this. I wrote this in here. I made it up. Delay Social Security reduces the number of years benefits are subject to tax. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting to 70. I'm not going to pay tax on it if I don't have to, but I'm still working. How about converting? And we have another slide too, but I don't have it here. But yeah, I'm a big believer in Roth conversions. I believe with the tax code now that it has a preference over probably where taxes are going to be in the future. Tax brackets are lower. There's bigger standard deductions. A lot of people are getting a tax break because a Roth conversion is a taxable event. Wouldn't you rather do it when taxes are lower? Yes, you would. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, type them on in. We will certainly go in and we will answer those for you. You know, something about taxation on Social Security, a lot of people, they think all of Social Security is taxed. No, 15%, no matter how much money you make, 15% of Social Security is never taxed. Warren Buffett, 88 or 89 years of age, is not paying taxes on 15% of his Social Security. Social Security myth number 5. The Social Security Administration will give you the best advice on how to maximize your benefit. That's completely false. You know what they can do? They can give you highest benefit right now. They can't scenario plan for you, just like what we did. They can't help you with innovative strategies like we just did. Unbelievably, they can't give advice. I was so excited when I found this. It's on the internet. Here's their program's operation manual that they learn from. Look at D. This is for the Social Security Administration personnel. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. Who gives advice? Dave Pimper does. I'm trained to give advice. That's what we do. They cannot. We do. That's why so many people sign up for the work for the consultation. Income streams. There's 5 income streams. Social Security is not a standalone income stream. I think it's the most flexible of all the income streams. Claiming not at the right time, but at your right time is extremely important. And don't forget about the survivor benefit. The 5 pillars of working income, or of income, is wages, full or part-time, pensions if you're lucky enough to have it, income-producing assets, required minimum distributions on traditional accounts, and then Social Security. I look at this of how do those 4 complement Social Security, or how does Social Security complement those 4 income streams? I also use this sheet when I'm going down and finding out I find out what their wages, pensions, RMDs, and Social Security is, but then I find out what that income-producing assets are: 401ks, IRAs, Roths, CDs, annuities. That all comes out in that 3, and I write them all down, and that's where I'm finding assets to work for from my clientele. Well, there's a lot to consider. And I don't say for the best decision, it's for your best decision. The individual benefit, spousal, survivor, divorce, health history, things that Social Security is not going to talk to you about, but it's so important. This program, you can have all of the Social Security knowledge in the world and not see anybody. You're just going to be a really smart, poor advisor. You need to get in front of people. And that's what Dave Pimper, that's what I do. I help people, I help agents, financial advisors get in front of a ton of people. I mean, I'm going to go in, I'm going to get in front of between 20 and 30 people tonight. I'll get 10, 12 appointments tonight from just this one night, not counting my second night, but just this one night. But here's 25 guaranteed buying units, husband and wife a buying unit, guaranteed buying units for $2,500. You get the coaching from me. You can always use me and call me for questions all throughout the coaching. I'm on a retainer with IAMS, so nothing comes out of your production whatsoever. You get Social Security software free for 3 months. You get to try it out. You get the presentation. You know, it's just all in. And I tell you what, it really is a very, very good program. We've done this presentation now between all the workshops we've had of it. We've done it 30 times, and we have not hit our goal of the 25 buying units for the workshop. We've had some very, very good production, come from this. So if you've never done seminar marketing, or you did it and you kind of faded away from it, this could be a great time to do it. Yeah, myself, I've done over 500 public seminars. That's a bunch. I'm kind of getting, I pretty much know, and now I know Facebook. I tried Facebook for 2 years until I found this small vendor who does just a great job. But I take a really hard, complicated subject like Social Security. If you're doing income planning for retirement and you don't know Social Security inside and out, shame on you. You should. There's no meals served at this. I mean, we serve Cokes, cookies, and coffee, but there's no meals. And I'll tell you what, it's a very, very good, as you can tell, those are the slides for the presentation. I always talk here about procrastination. Social Security is my sin. It brings me constant, or I say, it's a procrastination. Procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop tomorrow. And then I've got a kind of a funny, going in the last slide. This is on the actual, we take the appointments right at the workshop itself. Yep, they sign up for the date, and they signed up for a time period. We have morning, noon, afternoon, and then late. And that's how we set it up. So they mark the date and the time. We call them the next day, and we verify that they aren't on top of each other. And then we got kind of an emotional close on the last one. Let's see if I can do this here. Sorry about that. Get there, last slide. There it is. It's a George Foreman. We have fun about the George Foreman grill and how much money he made. And if your name's not on a grill, then you need to mark yes to come in to see me. People laugh and clap and have fun. But emotion, remember, facts tell, emotion sells. Okay? So Social Security workshops, and we're doing a little double team on this too. We're going to talk, and there's only about 7-8 slides, but my head's actually wider than that. I wish it was that thin. Becoming a radio show host. I've done radio for 26 years now, and I had my own show for 11 years, and now I've had a show for a little over a year. It's called Retirement Boss Radio. Take charge of your money. I tested this for 6 months, and then Steve Murray and myself, we rolled this out for IAMS, and I'm telling you what, how many people do you know that have their own radio show? Not many. It puts you on a pedestal. Radio reaches a ton of people. Reaches a ton of people. Reaches more than a smartphone, personal computers, TV connected devices. The average age of person listening is 61. That is pre-retired. Those are the folks that have the money and they're in transition. Hopefully they're transitioning out of accumulation into more preservation and income producing. Radio reaches an upscale listener. 93% of the adults in the 75,000 or higher income listen to radio 12 hours a week. Can you believe it? Radio solidifies you as an expert more so than seminars, and I'm not down on seminars. I do them both. But I tell you, news radio, news talk, traffic, weather, sports, it's hot, hot, hot. Look who's on AM radio in particular during the week. All the big boys and girls, Rush Limbaugh, Kim Commando, Glenn Beck, Dave Ramsey. Yeah, they're doing it. Why? because those advertisers are making the money on the bottom line. You bet they are. And we have there's really three parts to this Retirement Boss Radio. Someone's got to go out and buy the media, buy the radio time, because we have a vendor who has over 400 shows a week that's live that he's purchased for between radio, mostly radio, but some television also. Coaching with myself, I go in and coach you up on how to do it. Then there is the production company. There's a co-host that we use the same co-host for everyone, and they're half-hour shows. We repeat the second half, so our production costs are half the cost that everyone else is, because we have two shows. One is always a repeat. So every week you're recording a new show, and it's recorded. It's 2 weeks out from when you record it. It's fully turnkey, which is really, really interesting. And I'll tell you what happens is that we have also an inbound call center. So when we say, let's open up the phone lines, like my phone number is 888-975-BOSS, 888-975-BOSS. When you call there, it's answered the Retirement Boss Radio. What time would you like to set up your appointment? I mean, they go right in to set the appointment up, and that is live. I had to go through several, or a couple at least, maybe several call centers to finally get one that's very, very good. We do publish it on iTunes if you want to. It's like $50 or $100. I do it, and I do get some play from that, from people listening to that. Also, it's interesting. Every time that there's an appointment set, then they say, what time it was, and then the appointment date. And like here, turning 59 soon, hasn't settled on someone yet. He has a 401k that is seven-figured. Seven-figured. Isn't that something? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And so this guy, in the next month, we'll be talking, because we're doing an in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan from his. And so what happens is that's going to be at 59.5, and he's going to take between $300,000 and $500,000 and put it into a guarantee, because he wants to get more conservative than from the stock side. If you go to www.retirementbossradio.com, yeah, you can go and listen to all the podcasts there. The cost, we just did one down in Big City, down in the southeast, Big City, and it's a very good AM station, talk station, and all in it's about $2,500 for them. All in about $2,500. Now, if you get bigger stations, the Rush Limbaugh station, I'm on a Rush Limbaugh, it's going to cost you more. It might be $4,000 or $4,500 a month. But we would like to get 2 or 3 good appointments, from that. You get training from me. The studio, yeah, you order it out for $150 or $60. It's a microphone and the headphone. We supply you with the software, and I'll tell you, you can do it right in your office. You can do it in your living room. You can do it in your bedroom. Yeah, you don't have to go into the studio. You do it right where you're at. Okay. And so, again, if you heard something here, you should not procrastinate. And before we put up the poll, just say Al Jolson is an actor, and he says, I like to do radio just like pictures, leave the imperfect stuff on the cutting room floor. Well, you can hear, because this is all recorded in the comfort of your office or the comfort of your home. So what we'll do is, Steve, if you can go on in and just put up the poll, that would be great. And so whether it be Social Security seminars, whether it be Retirement Boss Radio, if you'd like to get some more information of how to get in front of a lot more people, certainly mark yes. And Steve, are there any questions or anything I may not have remembered to go over through the webinar time? I think Steve is there. He probably has his mute on.
Hey, Dave. So the questions that there's probably 4 or 5 questions that all have to do with the total outlay for Social Security seminars, and I have to apologize. So I don't know that we went over too in depth how the new digital works and the costing of that, and then I think you should probably walk them through kind of what your experience has been in terms of how many appointments you get, how many closed sales you get, and about what your approximate premium is per seminar. Do you have a couple minutes to do that?
Right. Well, seminars, the mailing for 25 buying units is between 2 nights. So they're between 2 nights within a week of each other at the same location. That's how the guarantee works. And you're going to average, I would say, you're going to get 25 buying units. And of those 25 buying units, about half of those will come in for appointments. So you're going to get 10 to 12 appointments minimum between. If you get more, it doesn't cost any more. But of that, so if you get 12 appointments in, normally you can do 50-50. 6% of those will have money and you go to second appointment, and then normally a third to a half of those you'll close. So you'll close from 1 to 3 pieces of business. I mean, I was averaging with hard copy around $250,000 of new premium per workshop, and it's closer to $400,000 now. So it's definitely gone up since I started doing digital marketing over the old hard mailed marketing. Yep. And I take it that Steve's there somewhere.
Yep. I am. So
there he is. Okay.
yeah, when you do the digital format, so right now the guarantee is $2,500 for 25 bond units. We've been seeing more than that, generally speaking, at our webinars. There's no additional cost for that. So you've got an out-of-pocket cost. What other cost do you have associated with Social Security seminars?
We feed them Cokes, cookies, and coffee, so you might as well figure about $1 a person what that will cost you. I mean, we just pick up at Costco, we pick up cookies, and we go down and we have some water and we have tea. So we don't have any meals. There could be a cost for the room. Our libraries, I got to buy a library card for the year. But other than that, sometimes you've got to pay a little bit for the room. But no, it's very, very expedient when it comes to how much money you're spending. It's very efficient.
Yeah, very economical. And so you're spending probably somewhere, realistically, you're probably spending somewhere around per seminar $2,700. And
right.
Your hope is that you get a sale or 2 or 3 sometimes. And your average sale size, I know, it seems like it's been higher since you started digital. Would you say that?
Yeah, it has. It's digital. Yeah, it probably is. I would say I probably average a couple $100,000 per sale, per household. And I also do security work. If I did just fixed indexed, of course, I mean, a lot of people, I have to talk them down of how much they want to put in guarantee. Well, you hate to hear that, don't you, Steve?
You're killing me.
Yeah. No, I tell you, it's amazing of how much money is out there. I mean, there's just a lot of money that's rolling over right now. And when people are in that transition, they're transitioning from working to retired, from working to part-time, from healthcare to Medicare, accumulation to preservation. We're catching them right at the very best time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I guess the reason, did I launch that poll? Yeah, I did. So the reason that I mentioned that, I want you to go through that because I have been on with other groups, and I mean, we all like to do our research and see what else is out there. And I keep hearing numbers like, they're getting 80% appointments and 40% sales and things like that. And so what I guess I wanted them to hear from you, Dave, is just how realistic it is. This is, what we're promoting here is not a pie in the sky. It's just a great, solid way to grow your business, to meet more people in a very cash efficient way. And along the way, of course, you're going to get some great new information that you didn't have before. So if you don't know about Social Security, I know that we have the slide that said how many people find that information valuable and almost indispensable to them, so much so that they'll change advisors 80% of the time to convert to an advisor that does that. So that's part of the training. So you've got, 4 or 5 calls right now that you do prior to the first seminar, where a lot of that has to do with kind of the training around Social Security, correct?
Yeah, no, 3. We do 3, and sometimes we'll do a 4th, depending on kind of how everybody's picking it up and so forth. But there's some reading and there's some work. I mean, there's a couple 3-4 hours a week worth of reading that you need to do for a couple 4 weeks. So it takes it isn't just me coaching them. There is a book, I call it the Bible, of Social Security. That is a great read, and we always have them order that. I think it's about $20 getting it from Amazon. But it's a really good program, and I take a pretty complicated subject and try to narrow it down. And I didn't have anybody to call if I had questions, but I am available. Once we're done coaching, we're not done with you. I mean, you know that, Steve. Your goal is for me to help them for as long as I can to help them write business. And seminar marketing, retirement boss radio, being a host, not for everyone, but I'll tell you what, it works. I've had some, and I'll tell you what, tomorrow. I mean, it isn't often that you go quote on $1.3 million, and I'm doing that tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited. I'm very, very excited about the marketing that IAMS has got going on right now. And I'm just really been with IAMS for 14 years, but I've been doing coaching with IAMS, the FMO, for 13 years, and we do this proprietary. I wasn't always, but I am proprietary, strictly to IAMS now, and we've done a good job with a lot of producers.
Yeah, no doubt Social Security has been the best seminar approach we've ever had, and I think there are multiple reasons for that. Number one, I think most guys and gals find it easier to do. It's less expensive to get into. The conversion is relatively high, and since we've started the digital approach, that's been pretty strong. And I know since you incorporated radio along with your seminars, you just cannot hardly keep up with appointments, and that's a nice thing for anybody that's in our business to be able to say is I've really got as many appointments as I can handle. It just doesn't happen very much. So between the Social Security seminars and the radio, you've got that happening. And I think people are intimidated by radio. They think that's harder than it is. I thought it was harder than it actually has turned out to be in terms of what you've been able to get set up and how it works. I mean, it's amazing how simple it can be and how efficient you can be with your time when you get out on the radio in front of
I agree.
Hundreds
Absolutely.
of customers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. That's
So
pretty cool.
We've had a couple of people that have not voted yet, which is fine. We're going to take those as no's, that you're not interested. For those of you that have some interest, it looks like there's about 4 of you that haven't voted. If you want to hit yes on that poll, you need to do that fairly quickly. We're going to close the poll out and we'll be finished here for the day. I didn't start by thanking you all for joining us today. We really value the folks that take some time out of their schedule to join us for webinars. We know that they're looking to grow their business, and those folks like that are the folks that we really look forward to helping as much as we can. So thank you for joining us here today. Dave, the final question. So radio availability. I know that's kind of a hard thing to address, but I think we can generally say we've got pretty good availability in terms of areas right now.
Yeah, we're growing, but you know what? We rolled this out about 4 or 5 months ago, so we've certainly got lots of areas that are open, and we are doing territories on this. So, yeah, please mark yes. Let's talk, and we'll see if we get something going in your area and really help your production.
Again, finally, thank you, Dave. I didn't also thank you for taking time out. I know you've got a lot going on right now, so I appreciate you taking some time. We did have 100% poll voting before we all said and done, so I appreciate everybody participating so well. And thank you all for joining us here today. The team here at IAMS is ready, set, and go to help you at any point. Take advantage of great opportunities here as the year closes out to finish strong. Whatever we can do to help you, that's what we're about here at IAMS, and that's why we work with people the quality of Dave Pimper and his team over at Lazarus Coaching. So thank you all for joining us today. Have a great finish to your sales week. And please, by all means, we can help you. Give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. Anything you want to say, Dave?
No, thank you very much for taking the time. We hope we be productive for you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.